Hello, this is Carlos with Star Pictures Miami. Welcome. And today I thought I'd share with everyone something very unique that I'm working on here with a telescope in the uh, Southern Hemisphere. Yes, believe it or not, been working on this project for over a year with a friend that my friend Brian Garhammer, who I met through Southern Cross Astronomical Society. It's kind of a long story, but through a friend of his friend, we were able to get a ZWO Seestar S50 in Zimbabwe in the Southern Hemisphere. And I'm going to share my experience, a live view from Zimbabwe. I have set this up remotely in much the same way that I've set it up at Starfront with my S50 there back in August of 2024. Basically, I've duplicated the same system, the Seestar, with a Mac M1 computer there on site, and a box to protect it. You'll see in a little while. I'll share some of the images, and using Chrome Remote Desktop to actually log into the Seestar remotely here from Miami, Florida, all the way to Zimbabwe, the northern part near the border with Zambia. It's on a lake called Lake Kariba, and it's very interesting. So let's go in there, and I'm going to try to see if I can share my screen here. Let's see here. If we go here, and all right, share the entire screen, share there, and then all right. So here is the desktop of the uh, Mac. I have a MacBook Air M1 in Zimbabwe right now, and you're looking at the desktop there with the Seestar app open on the desktop. On the right side, I've got a peer camera set up looking at the Seestar telescope. It's in the background there. You could see some stars there. I'll expand this. So there is the Seestar. I'll turn on a light so you can kind of get an idea of what this looks like. And here we go. There's the Seestar. It's mounted on a brick. It's in a plastic box that I have mounted over there. I sent over there with the Seestar and all the accessories and everything, and all the power adapters and the USB plugs and the USB camera and whatnot. But that's the Seestar. I'm going to turn off this light, and actually, so you can see that I'm actually moving this around live. I'll go ahead and close the arm to the Seestar now, and there it goes. It's closing. So from my computer here in Miami, Florida, I'm able to control this device, this setup, almost identically the same way I have it at Starfront, and also have another setup at a friend's ranch in Big Bend in far west Texas. That's a whole nother story. But yeah, we're getting a lot of people contacting me to duplicate this. So we've got this set up in Africa here, and we have access to the Southern Hemisphere. That is the big thing here. The Southern Hemisphere is something that we've all been thinking about if we're into this hobby of astronomy. And I've thought about, making trips down to South America and to Chile, of course, to Australia, and visiting, going with my telescope. And then this opportunity arose to get a Seestar telescope into Africa. And it's been in the works for a year. December 1st, this past December 1st, only a couple of weeks ago, was the 1 year anniversary that we concocted this idea of getting a Seestar into Africa with my friend Brian. He's a retired, semi-retired commercial pilot, knows a lot of pilots, has a friend in Africa, and that needed to buy an airplane, and they bought the airplane, and it was here in Miami, and then we loaded it up, and the airplane was flown over the course of 13 days back to Zimbabwe in Africa. But I'll share some of those pictures and whatnot in a little bit. I want to now let's go into. Let me see here. Before I actually do, I want to share some of this with some friends. So I'm going to let's see. I'm going to copy this. I'm going to send this out to some friends. Actually, I've got some people at Southern Cross Astronomical Society. Live with Star in Africa. Here is the YouTube link. All right. There, I'm going to send this out to some other people here. Just excuse me for a second. Oh, of course, Brian. Okay, I'm going to send this to a couple more people here in Southern Cross. All right, and just shared it with some people in Southern Cross. And we're going to go, and oh, I definitely want to get a couple of other people here. Let me see here. If we can go here. No, not there. We're going to share this with several people so we can get some more people on here. I know that you can view this later on YouTube. That's the beauty of YouTube Live. That's why I'm doing it, so that everyone can participate and get to check this out. Let's see here. Let me open up the Discord channel, and a couple people from Starfront I want to share this with, but we'll get them here momentarily. All right, so here we are. It is today the 12th of December 2025. We've got the Seestar. That's the Seestar, a live view of the Seestar in Africa. And here's the dashboard. And I figured we'd look at something like, say, in the Magellanic Cloud, the Large and Small Magellanic Cloud. Let's look at, let's see where a globular cluster, one of the first images that I actually was able to capture there from Zimbabwe when I went live was, believe it or not, the Large Magellanic Cloud. Let me see here, and 47 Tucanae, which was amazing to see. It's a beautiful globular cluster. Let me see if I can look this up here. 47. Okay. Globular cluster. It's at 36 degrees right now. This one, it's in the south. Should have a good view there. And then we're going to go here. Done. And then let me see here. See if we can move this up a little bit. Okay, locate target, and here we go. Now I'm going to put it back to, there we go. We'll just leave it to that framing there. I've got it mounted in Alt-Az at the moment, just for the sake of simplicity. And, I do have an EQ wedge, a Skywatcher EQ wedge over there. And we'll get that set up eventually. Let's see here what we've got. Okay. You guys can chat on the right side and submit some questions or just say hi on the chat if you'd like to. This is kind of an impromptu YouTube live, but I've logged in here already maybe about 6 times since this has been set up about a month ago, maybe a little bit less than a month ago. The weather has not been that great in Zimbabwe. It's the beginning of the rainy season, and we've been able to get a few nights in with the Seestar. And we missed the winter, but this project has been in the works for a while. We're trying to get over there. The weather, I was watching the weather in Zimbabwe, is very, very clear for the entire winter, which is during our summer. It's the winter down there in the Southern Hemisphere. And it was fantastic. It was like just crystal clear every single night, almost the entire winter over there, which was stunning. Now, right when the plane got over there and the Seestar was available for installation and activation, was almost coincided with the first day of the rainy season, and it rained just like clockwork. So here we go. Here's the first image we've got of the globular cluster. This is 47 Toucan A. Pretty large globular cluster. Not as big as Omega Centauri, but pretty large. Definitely one of the larger, much larger than M13. Beautiful cluster near the one of the Magellanic Clouds. But yeah, the Seestar has been working great. We've got it housed in a protective box. There is a Starlink connection over there at the property where the Seestar is located, and got the MacBook Air connected over there. I went with a MacBook Air instead of an M1 Mac Mini for several reasons. I thought that it would be easier for the person that's going to be setting this up and monitoring the activity with the Seestar. It would be easier to have a keyboard and a monitor, because having had the experience at Starfront, if there's an issue with a Mac Mini, support has to physically go to the Mac Mini, connect the keyboard, connect a monitor to it, and then log in. Whereas if we've got the MacBook Air, it's already taken care of. So we've got the screen, obviously, and the keyboard, and it's made it very, very easy. And I'm very glad that I made that decision to go with the MacBook. We got a used MacBook Air M1, which is over there. I sent that over there with the Seestar and all the other things, and it's been working great. It's connected to the Starlink connection, and we've got several other devices, the USB camera connected, and we've got several other accessories and whatnot. I've also have an external hard drive that I've yet to connect to the MacBook Air for downloading the files. I've just been uploading the few files that I've been able to capture to Google Drive for now, but eventually I want to be able to just quickly drag and drop stuff onto the external hard drive that's going to be connected to the MacBook Air. And running the Seestar app natively. Again, the Seestar is in Alt-Az mode, so we have it set to 10-second exposures right now, and it's working quite well. Right now, it's still initializing. It's doing some autofocusing right now. I expect here momentarily to be able to see the image here. Here comes the first 10-second exposure on the Seestar. And let's have a look there. So it looks pretty clear tonight. And there's the first 10-second exposure. A little bit of movement there, but I'm sure it's going to adjust and calibrate. And this is 47 Toucan A globular star cluster in the Southern Hemisphere. My name is Carlos Garcia. I'm with Star Pictures Miami, and I'm sharing with you my Seestar. Or actually, it's not my Seestar. It's actually Brian's S50. He donated his S50 for this project. I did send my S30 over there, so we actually do have a second Seestar that has not been activated. I have an S30 as well. So we have an S30 and an S50. The S50 is the only one that's live. Right now we're looking at the S50. This is now the tighter view there of this beautiful, beautiful globular star cluster in the Southern Hemisphere. And welcome to the YouTube Live. If anybody's watching, you can chime in on the chat. This is with 10-second exposures. I'll zoom in a little bit more. I've learned one thing about these globular star clusters, not to overexpose them and let them sit there for an hour, because it just tends to blow out the core of the globular cluster with so much light. This is a very bright globular cluster. I'm hoping to maybe later, if it stays clear, the weather that I've been monitoring is showing that there will be some clouds around 2 o'clock in the morning, 2 to 3 in the morning, but it's 50% cloud cover, the chance of it. And if it's clear enough, I hope to capture Omega Centauri, which is definitely my favorite globular star cluster in the Southern Hemisphere. We'll look forward to seeing it at the Winter Star Party in February. And I'm wearing my Winter Star Party shirt that's coming up the February 16th through the 22nd at Scout Key down in the Florida Keys of 2026. Hope to see you there. It's going to be a great event. I've been invited to speak at the Winter Star Party about this experience, about the Seestar, how I have hooked up now 4 Seestars in 3 different locations. The one at Starfront was just Seestar number 1, remote control Seestar number 1 at Starfront in Rockwood, Texas. Then I have now an S50 and an S30 at in the Big Bend region of far west Texas. I'll do another YouTube live about that. And this gem here that we're looking at, which is the S50 in Zimbabwe, Africa, in the Southern Hemisphere. Look at this beautiful globular cluster as it comes into view here. And we've just got a fantastic view tonight. Got some clear skies. There might be some upper level clouds, some wispy clouds up there, but for the most part, it's going to be clear. I'm going to, after this, we're going to look at some things in the Large Magellanic Cloud. And again, thank you for joining. And I hope that if you couldn't make it, that you're watching this on YouTube afterwards. This is a live view. I just impromptu, really didn't even think about doing this earlier. I said, might as well start sharing this and getting the word out that this is available. And this is a Seestar S50, a ZWO Seestar S50 in Zimbabwe, and we hope to hook up the S30 soon. So while that's imaging there, we'll go back to the desktop there, and let's look at the peer cam. There's the peer cam. It's dark. I have the infrared light off right now, but I can put it on just for a second, just so you can kind of get a peek at the Seestar in action here. Let's see here. We'll go to advanced settings and then turn on the night vision, the infrared light, and it's going to substantially improve the lighting there. That is the Seestar live right now. I've got it mounted on a leveler, and the leveler is connected to a half of a cement block. Believe it or not, had that cement block shipped on the airplane on the Cessna to Zimbabwe. I had it pre-drilled with a hole to hold the leveler. Then the leveler is holding the Seestar S50, and it's balanced on there. We will get the Skywatcher EQ wedge on there, and hopefully the the S30. My idea right now is to have the S50 in EQ mode and then have the S30 in Alt As mode. So now we'll see here on the left side is the live view of the Seestar. On the right side is the actual pure cam of the Seestar there. And so that's 47 Toucan, which is a massive globular cluster in the Southern Hemisphere. I think there's close to 1 million stars into this globular cluster. Omega Centauri is estimated to have over 10 million stars. So, but this is definitely one of the bigger globular star clusters out there. So, okay, we're going to stop it here. I'm going to stop the imaging there. And we're going to have it move now over to something in the small, or let's see, let's take a look here. If we go and look at the Tarantula Nebula, that's NGC 2070, if I'm not mistaken. Let's see here. Okay, there it is. I was shooting out of Carina the other night, but that one is at 28 degrees. There's a lot of stuff in the Magellanic Cloud. But if we'll go here, I'm going to go to the, yes, this is the Tarantula Nebula and NGC 2070, also known as Caldwell 103. It's in the large, it's a large open cluster. Let me see, in the Large Magellanic Cloud. And let's see if we can frame this, because this is actually quite a lot. Actually, we'll just go with the framing here, just the standard framing. There it is there. We can expand it a little bit to avoid some field rotation. That's a little trick that I use, as do many people. When it's in Alt As, you get some field rotation after about 20, 30 minutes. If you expand the framing, it really does a great job with letting you avoid field rotation. So as we go there, that's the correct framing. Excellent. I will tell it to go to. Now you're going to see on the right side, the Seestar will move on the right side. There it goes. Just going to move over a little tiny bit. And it's just to the left of the Large Magellanic Cloud, between the Doradus constellation. And here we go. That's coming up here. I'm going to put this widescreen. I'm going to turn off the IR light, infrared light on the pure cam, so that we don't cause any unnecessary stray light on the camera of the Seestar. There we go. And now it's dark there in the box. And momentarily, we're going to see the Tarantula Nebula. I'm going to, if you'll excuse me 1 second, get this message out to a few more people here. Let's see here. If we go in, yeah, let's see here. Oh, let's share this with Russ. In Africa. Okay, there is the Tarantula Nebula. This is NGC 2070. This is a target that I've been wanting to image for a long time. Many targets in the Southern Hemisphere, but this one in particular, this is a beautiful, beautiful target. This is just a superstar nursery here, there are so many stars around this object here, and as it becomes clearer, you're going to see, it's almost like M24, the Sagittarius star field. It's like almost that thick of stars, but it's a very bright nebula. What I really like about this nebula and a lot of the things in the Large Magellanic Cloud or the Small Magellanic Cloud is this nebulosity that you're seeing here is kind of like a pale green nebulosity. There's a lot of it all over these clouds, but it almost is like a shade of blue when I bring it into um, Lightroom and do some editing there. Just brings out this beautiful blue, bluish green color, which I find it's kind of missing in a lot of the targets that I'm able to capture. We're able to capture in the Northern Hemisphere, and that different color is what really attracts me to this particular target or anything in the two clouds. But as you'll see there, there's a lot of. I'll zoom in there. There we go. It's building out the this mosaic area. So yeah, thank you for joining. If you're watching it afterwards, this is Carlos. I'm with Star Pictures Miami, and if you could like this video and subscribe to the channel, that would definitely help me bring more of this very unique content to other people that are into astronomy, are into astrophotography, are users of the Seestar telescopes or any type of telescope, really, for that matter. We have Seestar S50 now live from Zimbabwe, Africa. It's located near the border with Zambia to the north on Lake Kariba. From what I understand, some history, my friend Brian was explaining to me that Lake Kariba is one of the largest man-made lakes in the world. Zimbabwe was a British colony, and the British back in the late 50s on the Zambia River created a dam. They built a dam there, and the resulting lake is Lake Kariba. It's massive. It's definitely the largest man-made lake in Africa. Brian was saying it's the largest one in the world, and I've seen the Lake Mead on the Hoover Dam on the Arizona side. That's substantial, but this is a lot larger. So the telescope is mounted in Alt-Az mode there in Zimbabwe. Let's see. Oh, I don't know what that was, but we've got something talking to me. I've got so many things open here. Let's see what we've got. Let me look at the phone. All right. And I'm going to bring up the YouTube here and see if we've got anybody. Here we go. Here's live. Okay, welcome everyone. If we've got anybody. Here we go. Here's live. Little feedback there. Okay. Thank you. We've got 6 people online now. Thank you for joining. We're looking at the Seestar. This is a live view of the Seestar in Africa. I've got this very unique project that came about through Southern Cross Astronomical Society. It's kind of a long story, but a very interesting story. And again, it speaks to the power of being in an organization like Southern Cross Astronomical Society. I encourage everyone who's in this hobby of astrophotography, astronomy, to join their local clubs. And we've got the Seestar in Africa because of someone that I met through Southern Cross that I was not aware was a member, and had a friend in Africa that was keen to the idea of allowing us to have a Seestar there on his property in Zimbabwe. Thank you, John. Mr. John Simpson in Africa. And it was great to have met you back in October when you came to pick up the airplane at Melbourne International Airport. It involves a Cessna 208 Caravan airplane. And let's see, actually, I might be able to share a couple of images. Let me, well, that's imaging. That's the Tarantula Nebula in the Large Magellanic Cloud in the Southern Hemisphere. I'm going to open up some images here for us to take a look at. You know, everybody's like, how, Carlos, in the hell did you get a Seestar in Africa? Well, I'm going to show you here with some pictures. Let's see here. Okay, so here's some of the images that, here's the moon from Zimbabwe the other day. You know, I'm wondering, it's probably the moon. If I was standing in Zimbabwe, here in Miami, the moon is kind of towards a little bit towards the south, you know, on that axis, and if I was in Zimbabwe, it'd probably be a little bit more to the north there. But getting back to the airplane, everybody's like, you know what, Carlos, how did you do this? What's this all about? um, you know, here I am. This is a picture of me in front of the airplane. This is a Cessna 208 Caravan airplane. I know nothing about airplanes, but being around my friend Brian and having met John and all the people surrounding this project, I've learned a little bit about aviation. This is a single engine airplane that John purchased, and it was here in Miami. It was worked on since February. Brian had sourced this airplane, and it is now in Zimbabwe. The short story is it was flown from Melbourne International Airport all the way back to Zimbabwe, where it landed back in towards the end of October, and that was a monumental day because with the tail number, we were able to track the airplane as it was flying around, and we through FlightAware. And here's the Seestar, my S30, in front of the airplane there. I had this Seestar, my S30. I took it up to Melbourne International Airport, and we were at Brian's hangar there at the airport, and you know, I had it with me because I travel everywhere with the S30. I literally don't leave the house if I'm going to be overnight anywhere without the S30. So I had it with me, and we're there and we're working. You know, I'm helping. You know, I'm doing a lot of grunt work there for the airplane, moving boxes around, and you know, running and doing errands and things like that. And I had the S30 with me, and I had it out and was imaging. Then I started thinking to myself, you know, we've already got the S50 and all the accessories mounted for the this project. And I said to myself, when am I going to have another chance to get a second Seestar into Africa? And I spoke with John, and I said, John, it would be okay if, you know, if I include my S30 on the airplane. I said, absolutely, please. You know, that's a great idea. Do it. You know, and it's so small and so light. Just put it up right next to the S50 along with all the accessories and everything. And now it's also, so I gave up my S30, my personal S30, to make this happen, and that is also over there in Africa. That will be set up. I hope to have both hooked up simultaneously and be able to do some imaging over there. But yeah, that's the Seestar in front of the airplane there. Let me see if I've got some other pictures there. Oh, okay. Everybody's like, you know, Carlos, what does this look like? What is this is the box on the roof of a building there looking towards the south. You're seeing off in the distance. Let me see here. Oops. Some water. That is the water of Lake Kariba in Zimbabwe. So the box, I had it wrapped. I had the foresight and the experience of having previously set up a similar rig and installation in Big Bend, um, near Big Bend National Park, with my friend Charlie's property. That it was overheating because of the direct sunlight. I couldn't find any of these boxes that were available in the color white. So my friend Charlie said, if we wrap it in some aluminum foil, that type of foil you use in your car to put on the windshield, that will reflect the light. And I said, man, you're a genius. And ordered it, wrapped it around there. No more overheating of the Seestar. It really remains pretty cool inside the box, but it was overheating here in Africa, and I had the foresight to send a big roll of this aluminum sheeting. And Tronic, which is the person on site that is managing this, who installed all this and made this all happen, wrapped it with the aluminum. Really guided Tronic over WhatsApp to get this all installed. He assembled the plastic box, got the brick inside the box. I think I have a view of the Seestar box. So here's some images here. Thought I had some more pictures in here, but yeah, I'll share another image. So this is a little video of the Seestar running the other night. This is a time lapse video of the Seestar running from Zimbabwe a couple weeks ago. Again, this is all running right now on the MacBook Air in Zimbabwe. And thank you for joining. This is Carlos with Star Pictures Miami. If you get a chance, please, if you could like the video, really that does help the channel to get some more viewers. This is some pretty unique content, I think. This is a Seestar S50 that's mounted in Zimbabwe, Africa. And we've got this unit there. That's a little video. Let's go back to some of the pictures there. But yeah, I could have sworn I had more images here. But yeah, the box is plastic patio box that we've got over there, and it works quite well. But let's just go back to the Seestar, because that is the star of the show today here. I'm going to reduce this. Here we are. This is the S50, and this is the Tarantula Nebula NGC 2070. I'm going to expand that, and you can see that that's in the Large Magellanic Cloud in the Southern Hemisphere. And we're broadcasting this. This is just an impromptu thing. I just had the opportunity. The weather has not been that great right now in Zimbabwe. It's the rainy season that started about a month ago, right when we got the Seestar set up and live. And it's been cloudy, but I've got some good weather apps that I'm following the weather just like obsessively on my phone and on my laptop. And I've got one weather website that has been proven to be very accurate. Unfortunately, Astrospheric is not available. They don't have information for Africa. I wish they did, because I'm missing some, the seeing components, the metrics, the transparency metrics, and things like that, which I love in Astrospheric. But I'm finding some other apps that are working quite well. So there is the Large Magellanic Cloud, and that is the Tarantula Nebula. Right there, we've got it in 10-second exposures in Alt-Az mode. I'll zoom in a little bit there. I've let this sit for a couple hours a few weeks ago, and when I clean it up with some noise reduction, using the noise reduction built into the Seestar and some of the basic light adjustments and these saturation on the Seestar, it's quite impressive. Just love the blue, that greenish blue nebulosity around there. It's beautiful. And I'll be sharing some of these images on my website, starpicturesmiami.com. If you don't follow me, please do. I'm on Instagram at Star Pictures Miami. Everything's branded Star Pictures Miami. The website, the Instagram, the YouTube channel. And for my marketing background, I have to be consistent, with it just to kind of build the identity. But my name is Carlos Garcia. This is a project that I've been working on with a good friend, Brian Garhammer, who's also a member of Southern Cross Astronomical Society. And I want to give a plug. We've got our Winter Star Party coming up in February 16th through the 22nd of 2026 down in Scout Key in the Florida Keys. This is going to be a fantastic event. If you have not attended, I highly encourage you, if you can make it down, even for a couple days, a couple nights. You get to experience the beautiful Florida Keys, which are very, very unique. During the day, you can take a day trip down to Key West, and at night, have your telescope ready, and you're able to see some targets that are in the Southern Hemisphere that creep right over the horizon, maybe like 4 degrees, 5 degrees. The top of the Southern Cross, which is the namesake of our group, Omega Centauri, Centaurus A, Eta Carina. I was stunned last year to be able to image Eta Carina with my Seestar from this location at Scout Key during the Winter Star Party. So if you want some more information, go to our website, which is scas.org. That stands for Southern Cross Astronomical Society, scas.org. And you can find information. You can register to attend the Winter Star Party. We're going to have a great event there. A lot of vendors. One that I'm excited about is ZWO is going to be there with a full staff at the Winter Star Party. We're going to have some friends from Starfront will also be at the Winter Star Party. I did meet Nate and Josh last year. They came down to the Winter Star Party. That was fantastic to meet those guys. And they shared with me some projects that they were thinking of back then. The Seestar bar, which was just an idea, and gave them some input for that. And today, the Seestar has flourished at Starfront. There's over 50, I think over 60 Seestars actively being used right now at Starfront. The most affordable way to get into remote astrophotography is with a Seestar. In the way that I initially set it up there in August of 2024, basically with a Mac, an M1 Mac, Mac Mini. You can run the Seestar app just like I'm doing here from Africa. I'm in Miami, Florida. This Seestar is in Africa. We've got the Seestar set up at Starfront, the S50, the first S50 at Starfront. Could possibly be the first smart telescope to be connected at a remote observatory anywhere in the world, actually, which is something that is pretty interesting to me. But it does make it very affordable. For under $1,000, you can have a smart telescope at Starfront. Or if you have anybody, or you have a second location that's in a dark sky area that you go to, and you could set up the Seestar and you have Wi-Fi there. There are ways to connect this. And if you want more information on this, you can see the numerous videos I've got on my YouTube channel on how to get this connected. And believe it, this has proven to me that I was able to send a Seestar telescope with the accessories all the way to Africa and guide someone that has never been involved with a telescope, Tronic. This is the person on site that has helped me with the installation, and I was able to guide Tronic over WhatsApp, initially through the text, and then one day he just calls me on the video and he goes, "Sir, I think this is going to be a lot easier if we just do it on video." I go, "Absolutely. Why didn't I think of that?" And he's such a beautiful person, Tronic. Such a great person to have with this project. So very, very detailed. Got the box assembled. I made a couple videos on how to put everything together, the box, how to mount the Seestar on the leveler and put the leveler on the brick, how to connect the USB cameras. He watched that video and had 80% of everything set up the very next day and sent me like pictures like, how does this look? And I go, that's unbelievable. That's you've basically almost got it hooked up. We just got to hook this up to the Starlink and connect it. Connect the Seestar to the MacBook Air and set it up in station mode, and away we go. So this is hooked up in station mode right now. The MacBook Air is inside the building. It's in an office in John's office, and it's only about actually literally right under the office is right under where the box is located. That's on the roof that's housing the Seestar. So the Wi-Fi, the Starlink is very close by. The MacBook Air is probably only about 20 feet away, 15 feet away from the Seestar. It's mounted on the roof inside of this plastic patio box. I got this box at Lowe's. It's like a 50-gallon plastic patio box with a removable lid. It's designed to be outside. It's water resistant. It's UV rated, and it's been wonderful. And I've got that set up, identical system in Texas at Big Bend area there. Someday I'll share that. But yeah, I've been very busy with this, with the Seestar, and quite a few people have been in touch with me. They want me to set up more of these in many different locations. So we've got the Tarantula Nebula. Getting back to this. So right now, let's see. Let's look and see how the exposures are going. We've got 79 10-second exposures. It's ignored 3. So the guiding is okay. That's less than 10% rejection rate there, which is pretty good. And it is in Alt-Az mode. There are some nights that I get 0 ignored frames there, but right now we're on the Tarantula Nebula NGC 2070 in the Large Magellanic Cloud there. And one thing that the Seestar does, I rarely use it, but this is an interesting thing, that you can add the noise reduction as it's stacking the image. Let's just go ahead and do that for a second. Let's just click there, and it's going to do the noise reduction. It says it's going to take 18 seconds. An image, this image is being AI denoised. This takes about 18 seconds. I usually do this after the target has been saved, but it does allow you to do that. And I guess that's just so you can get a quick look at it, say, hey, what does it look like all cleaned up? What we're going to see here in a moment. Okay. There it is with the noise reduction. I'll do the compare. That's without, and that's with. Slight variations. The longer I let it sit, the more noise it's going to develop, and I think the better job the noise reduction will do after the image is complete there. But that's what it looks like there with some noise reduction on this target. And thank you for joining. We've got some people online. Again, this is just, I just kind of put this together at the last moment. We've got the Seestar in Zimbabwe. And let's see here. Let me see if I can share with you some other things here. So this is the desktop of the Seestar in Africa. Of course, I gave it this African, that's the Serengetian image I grabbed off the internet there. So sometimes I have my view of Starfront, my desktop there, my view of Big Bend area there with the 2 Seestars there, and then Africa on my monitors. And it's hard to keep track of what's what and where's where. So I made them all very distinct. I try to put pictures of those areas there. So I know this. I see these giraffes. I know I'm in Africa here. So basically we've got, let's see. So if I show this on a map where this is located, if I go here and we go into Google, and so we'll put Kariba, Zimbabwe. Let's see on a map. Let's go here. Let's expand it. And I'll show you where this is. This is very interesting. And oh, actually, if you can see there on the map. Okay, there is Lake Kariba. This big lake here. And the border cuts through the lake. There's Zambia to the north, and there's Zimbabwe. Um, and it's more or less in this area here where the telescope is located in that area. But we're doing some tests. We might move it around. We have the ability to have access to different sites, and we might move it around. Right now, it's over there in Kariba, and that's where it's located. If we can zoom out here, and you can get an idea where in Africa this is. There's Zimbabwe, there's Zambia. It's right between Zambia and Zimbabwe there. Zimbabwe is a landlocked country, bordering there to the east with Mozambique, and then we've got Botswana on the west side there, and there. But yeah, so it's in the Southern Hemisphere, and it pretty good view of the Southern Hemisphere. So that's been fantastic. Let me go back to the Seestar. There we go. Okay, so there is the Tarantula Nebula. This is NGC 2070. My name is Carlos. I'm with Star Pictures Miami, and if you could like the video and subscribe to the channel, definitely that would help. Just kind of put this together last minute. I think some people from Southern Cross are on, and welcome everybody. Just wanted to share this with some people, and we're trying to get this set up here. And the idea that we have, I want to be able to share this with the schools in the neighboring town there in Kariba in Zimbabwe, and bring this technology and these images into the local schools into Zimbabwe, because I really do feel that this has a lot of potential for educational purposes. The Seestar, in this fashion, like we're watching now, has a lot of potential to bring into the classroom, into the purview of young students, what is out in the night sky. What is out there when you go out. They live in this beautiful country. It's very, very dark there. You can see stars that you just can't see when you're in a big city, and you can look out and look at many, many stars that millions and millions of people cannot see, billions of people cannot see, because they're near light polluted areas. And to learn about the night sky, learn about these nebulas, learn about star clusters, and how stars are formed and what's out there in the universe. And I hope to bring this into the classroom with the help of Tronic and John Simpson in Zimbabwe. Hope to bring this into classrooms and make this available to students, because I really do feel that this is a great learning tool for astronomy. Visual, I think, is ideal. There's nothing like getting a visual telescope, setting it up outside, and being able to find Jupiter, to find Saturn, the moon, things with a visual telescope. That is, very, very important. But because of the economy, getting access to a telescope in Zimbabwe, it can be very difficult. And we have this telescope set up there, and I want to make this available to the schools in Zimbabwe. So that's what I'm working on, and hopefully by the beginning of next year we'll be able to bring this in and have some talks and share these images with not only the schools there in Zimbabwe, but anywhere in Africa or anywhere in the world. But since it is in Africa, I want to start there. And that's something that Brian Garhammer and John Simpson and I have talked about as one of the initiatives with this telescope and the S30 that will be set up there. So there we are, the Tarantula Nebula. Thank you for joining. We've got a few people in here. You can actually chat on the chat. Let me see if I have that over here. I'll say something. I'll say hello. Okay, that's from one of my other Google accounts. Some water here. Today is the 12th of December, 2025. I'm live from Miami, Florida. We're looking at a Seestar that's connected remotely. For a moment, I was talking with Brian about this. This is like kind of an interesting idea to look at it this way. Seestar is located in Africa. That is connected to a MacBook Air. That is connected to a Starlink Wi-Fi. The Starlink is transmitting this signal to low Earth orbit satellites, that whole constellation of Starlink satellites, and beaming that information across that network and back to North America and to my house here in Kendall in Miami, Florida, which is a mind-blowing thing that I try not to take for granted. It is quite an accomplishment. This would not be possible without Starlink, to tell you the truth. As much as, I get sometimes a little miffed at Starlink because they streak across the images and they cause all this these stray lines on the images here with the Seestar and everyone at Starfront. I mean, it's something we have to deal with. If you have ever been into astrophotography, it's a fact of life. You're going to get satellite trails all over the place, and it would not be possible without Starlink. This is in a very, very remote area in Zimbabwe, and we've got a very, very strong signal there making all this possible. But it's bouncing around a bunch of satellites, and here we are on YouTube Live. And it's right now 1:55 in the afternoon, East Coast time here in Miami, and they are 7 hours ahead in Zimbabwe. So we're approaching their 9 p.m. in Zimbabwe. And it's dark and it's clear. Let me share with you the view with the little pier cam. Let's see here. We go over here, bring the pier cam back up. Okay. There's the pier cam. Right now, I'm going to just for a moment put on the infrared there so you can see the Seestar in action. This is the S50. We'll go there. We'll just turn on the night vision, the infrared, just for a moment. I don't want to disrupt the imaging too much, but there it is. Kind of looks like a flashlight just went on there, but that's the infrared light from the little camera, just using a $30 Wise camera. Works very well. Have the audio hooked up. There's the Seestar there, powered up with a cable. And surprisingly, one of the main reasons I have the camera there is to watch if there's any cable wrap. I must say, since the last firmware update 5.97, ZWO has done a good job with helping to mitigate the massive problem of the cable wrap with the Seestar, as it is in Alt-Az mode and even in EQ mode. It really doesn't, when it's imaging something, it will return to its original position. Before, if it was closer, it had turned, maybe, almost all the way around, and then going backwards to its original position, it would just take the shortcut of getting to its home position before, and then it would cause this cable wrap issue. But lately, I've not had an issue with it. It's doing a lot better. So the software update, the firmware update, has really helped a lot. Another thing that is really very interesting with a firmware update, which I really, really am very excited about, is, you know, in talking with some of the people over at Starfront and talking with Dustin Gibson, we were on a chat a few weeks ago. They had announced that ZWO had sent a couple of people from China to Starfront to look at all the ZWO product that's at Starfront. I mean, there is so much product over there, but in particular, the array of Seestar telescopes. I think that maybe they were even surprised to see the Seestar at a remote observatory, and they have implemented a new telescope network feature in the firmware in 5.97, which allows you, and I've been using it, and it's worked quite well. I'm very impressed that you can log into your Seestar. If the Seestar is connected and you're logged into your ZWO user account and you're connected to a Wi-Fi, you can remotely control the Seestar without a Mac computer directly from your smartphone, from your iPhone or your Android, or even from your laptop or an iPad. And what I'm excited about is the fact that you don't have the need for then the MacBook Mini or the MacBook Air. The MacBook Mini adds another $600 to this equation. Yes, you can get a used one, maybe $250, $300, and it works great. I've got an M2 Mac Mini that I got brand new when I sent it last year over to Starfront. It's worked fantastic, but that cost me $500. It was brand new. I have now bought a couple MacBook Airs. The one out in Big Bend, I got that one for like under $400 used. The MacBook Air M1, under $400. Thing looked brand new. When I got it, I couldn't believe it. I was like, this thing looks new. I got it on Amazon. The one I sent to Africa, also same thing. Looks like brand new. It's been refurbished, and it works great. But I've actually logged into the Seestar in Africa on that uh, telescope network feature, and I got to tell you, it works very well. In fact, I'm looking forward to that, because if we don't need to buy a Mac to control the Seestars, guess what? Things just got a lot cheaper. Now, having said that, it looks like ZWO is going to make this a subscription-based feature. They are going to be, it says it's in a beta trial period right now. And, I think I commend them for thinking in this way, because it's already the most economical way to get into remote astrophotography with the Seestar. Now you add the component of, or the fact that you don't have to have a MacBook or a Mac Mini connected. Well, you basically cut the cost in half. So if you have an S50 for $550, it used to be $500. You have a Mac Mini, that's another $500 to $600, brand new. You're at $1,100 right there. Still, you're way under what it would cost to send a typical astrophotography rig to a remote observatory like Starfront. Say basic Red Cat 51 with a ZWO camera and the ASI Air and an AM3 mount, and also you'd be at between $4,000 to $5,000 right there. Understood. That is, much higher quality. You get a lot more exposure time, a lot more detail. But let me tell you, the ZWO Seestar is doing pretty damn good here for $550. It can contend, I think, with a lot of these products, and this is only going to get better, and this is only going to get cheaper. It's the reality, and I think the ZWO realizes that the future are these smart telescopes, and there's a lot of integration. Look at the newer cameras. I think what's was it the 585 camera with the built-in ASI Air and the guiding camera built in? It's around $1,000, all integrated. That cuts down on the setup time, cuts down on the cost, and it cuts down on all the cables. You know, the beauty of the Seestar is right now there's one cable connected to this Seestar. The whole thing is powered by a USB-C cable, and it's very simple, very fast, and very easy. So here we are at the. If anybody has an idea for a target, let me know there on the chat. They'd like to maybe look at for the Southern Hemisphere. If anybody's got an idea for a target in the Large Magellanic Cloud or the Small Magellanic Cloud, I'm all ears. Right now, I'm taking suggestions. I feel like a DJ that's taking requests there for songs. If you've got any ideas for a particular target, let me know in the chat there on the YouTube live. So we are live in Zimbabwe, Africa, right now. Thank you to everyone who's joined. I actually have a list of targets. One target that I wanted to image was this, and I did image the pincushion cluster. I got that a couple weeks ago, and I really want to get the jewel box, which you can view in February at the Winter Star Party. I have looked at the jewel box through a 16-inch Dob from the Winter Star Party. It's amazing. What a beautiful open cluster that is. Just gorgeous. And but if anybody's got any ideas, please chime in there on the chat. Would love to hear from you. And after a few minutes, we've got here, let's see what we've got. We've got 23 minutes and 20 seconds exposure time. So we've had 140 stacked frames there on NGC 2070, and it's ignored 17. So there's one that it just ignored right there, or discarded. So it's doing a pretty good job. The guiding is not too bad tonight. Let's look at the peer cam again. I like to look at because I have a second camera set up there. Okay, there's the peer cam without the light, and you can see some stars in there. Let me see if I can zoom in. Okay, that's the peer cam right there. You can see a few stars there in the background. So that's looking up. It's on the ground of the box, and it's looking up towards the Seestar. You can see in the background some of the night sky, some of the stars there in Zimbabwe, and it's clear. I do have a second camera that I sent that for some reason is giving us some difficulty in connecting to the app. I don't know what it is. We have tried 4 times to get that camera hooked up, and it's just not cooperating. So we've got the little camera. This was the camera that I originally had wanted to use as a sky cam, an all sky cam on the outside of the box. But we got that working, and I told Tronic, let's just put it inside the box. It's more important to be able to have the view inside the box than the sky view, because I need to watch the cable, if there's any cable wrap issues. Let me reduce this and get the Seestar back up. Okay, there it is. 10-second exposures on the Magellanic Cloud there in the Tarantula Nebula. It says NGC 2070. Let's see here. Okay, no one's chimed in. I'm just going to pick a target. Let's see. There's some cool nebulosity and some star clusters. Let's go over here. Actually, I'm going to stop the Tarantula Nebula. We're going to stop this here. I'm going to pause it, and I'll share this. I'm going to make this available on my website at starpicturesmiami.com and on Instagram a little bit later. Let's go into the Sky Atlas. Let's have a look here. And some of the NGC targets. NGC 346, this one here. Okay, go to this area here. NGC 346 is a young open cluster of stars with associated nebulae located in the Small Magellanic Cloud that appears in the southern constellation of Tucana. So let's go there because there's some really cool stuff around here. I was imaging this one here. So let's locate it on the target there. Okay. Here, you could see this star field here. This is like just some beautiful, beautiful stuff. The other day, I was just randomly just picked an area in here. And let's see if we can expand this. Let's open up the framing a little bit, kind of expand it and make a little mosaic there. I just love this nebulosity here. This is in the Small Magellanic Cloud. Let's see if we can bring this in a little bit over there. A little far. Kind of center this. There, if we can zoom out a little bit. Okay. That's a Small Magellanic Cloud. There, and then the Large Magellanic Cloud is all the way. That's where it's at right now in the Tarantula Nebula over here in the blue box. But we're going to send it over here to this area there. NGC 292 there in the Small Magellanic Cloud. So there we go. We're going to go to, and there goes the Seestar. It's coming over from the Large Magellanic Cloud, and it's coming there. Thank you for joining me. My name is Carlos Garcia with Star Pictures Miami. We're looking at a ZWO Seestar S50 that I've got set up along with the help of my good friend Brian Garhammer and Mr. John Simpson in Zimbabwe, Africa in the Southern Hemisphere. It's 2 o'clock in the afternoon here in Miami in the East Coast. It's a beautiful day outside here in Miami, and it's a little 10 minutes after 9 p.m. in Zimbabwe. And that's a beautiful thing. They're 7 hours ahead. So I can start imaging if it's clear about 12:30, 12 o'clock. The sun sets, which is around 7 p.m. there. Now, yeah, it's centering on this area there within the Small Magellanic Cloud. And you're going to see I love this nebulosity. It's just the colors of it and everything. I guess it's because it's something I can't see in the Northern Hemisphere. I mean, it's quite bright. There's a lot of globular clusters in the Southern Hemisphere in these clouds, and there's a lot of this stray nebulosity all over the place. And I just like that. It's spread out. It's kind of scattered. It's like little pieces and everything. As you'll see as this starts to come together, this mosaic. I didn't blow it out too much, but you'll start to see some of the images in there. And when I process it a little bit, just with some noise reduction and some Lightroom, it's like, wow. It's just beautiful, just beautiful. There's some greenish nebulosity. There's some orange stars. There's some blue stars. It's just very rich in color, which is something that is very interesting and different. So yeah, it's going to take a little bit to build it out, but yeah, the Seestar has done a great job. We've got it set up there in the box. There's a box there. I'm going to see if I can. Let me see if I can find an image. I can show you what the box looks like here. If I go, I'm going to send a picture from my iPhone over to MacBook Air so I can share an image of what this looks like. in Zimbabwe. Yeah, but we've got the box set up there. Let me see, where is that? Actually, let me see if I can actually set this up over here. Pardon my side view here. And bring some pictures over. Okay, there's that. And then we're going to open up another view here and look at Google Photos. I've been using Google Photos. It's a wonderful product, Google Photos. It really is amazing. The fact that we can share these images and everything. Okay, here's the box. Bring this over. Okay. Download this box here. See there, that's a Zimbabwe image. So you can get an idea how this is all working. A lot of people are like, what? How is this? What did you do? How did you do this? You're going to see here in a moment. This is pretty interesting. Again, I'm just kind of improvising all this stuff. Download this box and there. And then we're going to bring that over to this here. We're going to go here and download it from there. Seestar images. Okay. 3 images. Over to this album. Okay. Let me see. Zimbabwe. Seestar box. Okay. Very good. Okay, so there. Now we've got that over here. Let's open this up. Open up Chrome. And we're going to open up Google Photos. And I've got the this album set up here. Okay, here we go. This is the box in Zimbabwe. That's a picture Tronic sent me there. That's a box. It's a 50-gallon patio storage box. You get this at Home Depot, get it at Lowe's, and I just thought, how am I going to protect the electronics? And I said, these things are cheap. They're designed to be outside. We don't have the lid, on in that fashion. Actually, I asked Tronic to remove it from the hinges. No hinges. He basically lifts the whole lid off of it. So because right now that would be limiting any view to the south if we left it on while it was open. Plus the wind might blow and shut it, cause it to close. So we have the box there. Everything is mounted in the box, and I would take a look at the what it looks like here. That's the inside of the box. That's for the top view. I did send the Casa IP power strip, even though I'm not using it. I hoping it didn't burn out. Tronic said we hooked it up to the power and smoke started to come out of one of the outlets there. I did send two 220 to 110 converters out there that are in the box. And good thing I did, because though they have limited connectivity there, that those have been the main things that we've been able to get that 220 current down to 110. And with one of those, I got a USB fan in there to move the air around. There's the little Wise camera. I'll zoom in there. There's the Seestar mounted on the block, on the concrete block there. Very basic. There's the here in the bottom left corner. You could see the camera, the little USB camera that I had as a originally idea with that. The original idea was to set that up as this all sky camera, but this is the only one we can get working. The other one that's on the floor here, the pan tilt, I've not been able to hook that up yet. So we've got the little camera inside the box, and that's what is projecting the image that you were looking at previously. But that is that's the box. That's how the Seestar is hooked up. It's that's the behind the curtain look at how I've got this all set up, and I've got a similar, if not identical, setup in West Texas at Big Bend, near Big Bend National Park. Works very well. I'm very happy to report. Just have to get the automated part down of how to get this all working without any human interaction. You know, right now it's been working with somebody coming and opening up the box. And here's a view of the with the camera, the USB camera. It's on the floor of the box. I'll go ahead and turn on the infrared light there for one last time so you can take a look at it. Here we go. We'll go back to the view, and there we are. That's the Seestar. That's live. The Seestar live in Zimbabwe. Yeah. So I'm able to look at this. Main thing is the cable wrap. Really super focused on if there's any cable wrap issues. If there is any cable wrap, I asked Tronic to go in there. He'll open the box, unwind the cable. He's only had to do that one time so far. It's a 10-foot cable. There's plenty of room, and it turns quite freely. So that's that there. I'm going to turn that off so that we can. Yeah, the bugs are attracted to the light, so definitely having the infrared light off helps to keep the bugs away. There. And we'll go back to the Seestar. And now here is what it is imaging at the moment. It is imaging NGC 292. This is just a little kind of a random area that I just picked in the Small Magellanic Cloud. But there's some really cool little star clusters around, and this nebulosity. It's just like a little landscape of a bunch of smaller little things that I find very interesting on there. Thank you for joining us. We've got a view there of the Seestar in Zimbabwe, Africa. And I wanted to share this with some people. And it's been cloudy for the last week or so. I looked at the weather, and it looked like it was going to be clear tonight. Let me see if I've got. It rejected a frame there. Let's see. Actually, 5 minutes and 20 seconds of imaging, 32 stacked images, and 12 ignored. So, okay, that's almost a third of all the images that it's ignored. So the guiding is a little off there, but let's see it. Let's look at the weather. I think I've got the on the desktop. Do I have the weather on there? No. These are a series of videos I actually included on the desktop there of how to set up the Seestar and how to set up everything and make it work there. But yeah, I don't have the weather right now. Let me see if I go here. Yeah, I'll have to bring that up. But yeah, the weather app that I've it's a website. Again, I wish there was Astrospheric or that Astrospheric had um, the profiles for the weather in Africa, but they don't. I know they just expanded, made an announcement into Mexico and some other areas. I think Ireland and whatnot. But hopefully someday they'll be set up in Africa because I love Astrospheric, as I know many of you do. And there it is, the S50 live in Zimbabwe. My name is Carlos Garcia. I'm with Star Pictures Miami. If you want some more information, starpicturesmiami.com is my website. I've got a lot of pictures just posted. I've been meaning to get around for a while to posting. My wife and I were in Alaska, and we were very, very fortunate on our very, very last night in Alaska. Last night in Fairbanks, we were able to. We were treated to a Northern Lights show. I will never forget, for 3.5 hours. It was the most amazing uh, display of nature I have ever seen. That was something, learning so much about the sun and all the energy that comes from the sun that interacts with our magnetosphere here on Earth and creating those beautiful lights. That was just stunning. Got a lot of images, posted those images on starpicturesmiami.com. Check it out. I will be making a post about this sea star in Africa. I also have a new Discord channel, Smart Scopes. It's on there, Smart Scopes. We've got that set up, and that is a place that I've got. Let me see if I can bring up the Discord, and I invite you guys to go there. There's the Discord here. Smart Scopes on Discord. And it's this one. Here we go. Smart Scopes. So I've got room set up there for a channel set up for Big Bend, Zimbabwe, and Starfront. And at Starfront, I've shared some images and whatnot that I've captured. Here's a picture of my S50 there on the Seestar bar at Starfront with my William Optics EQ wedge, and there's the Pier Cam there. That's a ZWO ASI 662 MC is a Pier Cam, and there's the Seestar mounted in EQ mode with my cable management system. Those little clips there really have helped to mitigate the cable wrap with the Seestar, even in EQ mode. Actually, a friend of mine back in July, Dennis Martinez from Argentina, came up with he said, if we could run the cable straight up the Seestar as it turns in EQ mode, it's less likely to be tangled around the base or the EQ wedge. And I looked at it and set it up, and I go, wow, that actually can work. And then a friend of mine, Russ, came up with this idea with these cable clips that I got off of Amazon. They're about $2 a piece, and they have an adhesive on there. You stick it onto the Seestar, and then it allows you to feed the cable through that opening there. And then the back, you'll see there's the on the wall there. That's the north wall of Building 6. There's the second cable clip, so the cable, is hanging there, but it allows the Seestar to move freely in EQ mode, and it works quite well. So yeah, Zimbabwe. Some images here. That's an image I got the other day. Here's some images that I've got there from the Large Magellanic Cloud. And I invite you, if you're into Discord, join this channel. It's Smart Scopes on Discord. You can ask me for an invite, and you can have access. I plan to be sharing a lot of information here about not only the Seestar, but also Big Bend. I've got a lot of interesting things going on there. Let's see if we got. So these are a couple of. I'll share this. This is an image, the first image, actually third image I was able to capture with my new S30 that I got set up in West Texas near Big Bend National Park. This is the S30 over there. It really shows and proves that being in a dark area makes a very, very big difference with regards to astrophotography with ZWO Seestars, with any astrophotography rig or camera. It's Light Pollution Map says it's a Bortle 2, but it also says that Starfront is at a Bortle 2/Bortle 3. It's inaccurate. I believe, Starfront is in a Bortle 1, and where we have this telescope set up in Big Bend is in a Bortle 1 as well. But this is a impressive little image I got with that's with no external processing. That's just a noise reduction on the S30 there. It just it's like I looked at this and I said, wow, I cleaned it up a little bit there with the noise reduction and the light adjustments, the saturation. If I was to pull this into Cyril or PixInsight, if I knew how to work any of those programs, I'm sure I can make this, pop. But that is something that's that image there. Here's Andromeda with the S30. This was the second image with the S30 over there in Big Bend. I mean, look at that. No external process. It's all internal. I know I can get these stars to look a lot sharper there with Cyril and whatnot. I'm thinking about making this data available and sharing with anybody who wants to process it, because I've seen some people process some Seestar data, which is very impressive. Very impressive. There's the Seestar in the box in Texas, in far west Texas. Similar box, almost identical. This one is in EQ mode. It's very dusty, as you could see. I've had this in September. This is my original S50 that I purchased in February. I got it in February of 2024, right after I got back from the Winter Star party. There's the box sitting on my front doorstep, and that's this unit there. That is the S50, and I've been getting some incredible images there. Very similar sky quality, if not identical, to Starfront there. So we've got a Big Bend channel, we've got Zimbabwe set up, and Starfront, and I've got a general chat there. You can join us on the let's just join the voice channel, but let's go back to Africa. Here, I'm going to minimize that and get back to the Seestar in Zimbabwe. Again, thank you for joining us. We've got 8 people on. Thank you. Last minute, and you'll be able to look at this on YouTube Live. But we've got the Seestar on a random area here in the Small Magellanic Cloud. It is in the Southern Hemisphere, and let's see, NGC 292. If I was to bring up Stellarium Web, let me see here. NGC 292. Okay. There, and then we're going to make this Kariba, Zimbabwe. Here we go. There it is. Use this location, and then NGC 292, Small Magellanic Cloud. This is what we're looking at now. Let's see if we can. We're in here someplace. This is what we're looking at with the Seestar, but there's so much stuff here. Just so much stuff. Yeah, Eta Carina is something that I could point at maybe a little bit later. I'm not sure where Eta Carina is. Let me see that. That's C92, if I'm not mistaken. Caldwell 92. Yeah. It's a very large area. Let's see how high this is. Let's see. Okay. To the south, we can go to Eta Carina. There's the Southern Cross. I'm really excited about trying to get the 4 stars of the Southern Cross. It's not in the view of the field of view of the S50. A little bit better on the S30 when I get the S30 set up in Zimbabwe. Hopefully, sooner than later, we'll be able to get um, better, tighter views with the larger field of view on the S30 or the Southern Cross. So, yeah, we will probably go. We can go to Eta Carina in a little bit there. So NGC 3372. I always remember it as Caldwell 92, Eta Carina. So that's where we'll go next year. Let's after this is done. So we'll go back and let's go here. There is the view of what we're imaging in the Small Magellanic Cloud with a Seestar S50 in Zimbabwe. It's a pretty clear night tonight. We've got good weather. Right now, it's hit or miss. It's been cloudy for the last 8 or 9 days. And when a clear night comes up and I see less than 10% cloud cover on my weather app that I've got that I'm using, I communicate with Tronic there in Zimbabwe and say, if you're available tomorrow, let's open up the box. And he does, and fires up the MacBook Air, and I connect the Seestar to it and control it. I actually have this also set up with the I'll show you with the trial mode there for the telescope network. It is set up there, and I do have it there, so it is available to me there, and I've actually imaged with the telescope network feature and turned off the MacBook Air completely, so that I've been able to control the Seestar with just the telescope network feature that ZWO included on the latest firmware release, the 5.97. There we go. And it works quite well. I was very impressed with it. So let's see here. I'll zoom in a little bit there. Kind of see the view. When I was able to clean it up previously with the noise reduction, this same area I did image this a couple weeks ago. I was very impressed with the noise reduction feature on the Seestar. It really, it's like a noticeable difference, improvement on the image quality just with the internal noise reduction on the Seestar. And I know that they're working on adding more editing features and processing features internally on the Seestar. I can't wait for that to happen. And I'm lazy when it comes to this stuff. I mean, I can pull this into Graxpert, which is pretty easy to use, and Lightroom, and touch up the image, and I'm quite happy with it. I know that there's a lot of people that will say, oh, Carlos, you can get that to really pop with PixInsight or Photoshop or Cyril. Yes, I just haven't had the time. I'm more on the acquisition of the targets. That's what really gets me excited, the acquisition of the targets and being able to do this in remote sites in the Southern Hemisphere, in the Northern Hemisphere. Would love to get something set up in Australia, and who knows. So if anybody out there has any property in Australia that they they are making available or could make available for a very small footprint, let me know. Get in touch with me. starpicturesmiami@gmail.com is my email. starpicturesmiami@gmail.com. You can email me there, and you can follow me on Instagram. Please like the video and subscribe if you haven't already. It makes a big difference. Got a lot of people. I really don't promote it that much. I mean, some people find it, find me on YouTube. Some others don't. A lot of people have found the video that I created last year when I first got the Seestar set up. I think that was in November or December of 24, explaining how I was able to connect the Seestar at Starfront. And let me turn off the Discord in the background because that. Let me see here. Oh, didn't mean to do that. That's the voice channel, which is great. The voice channel on the Discord is fantastic. So we can go back to there we go. That's the view of Seestar live in Zimbabwe. Yeah. The video of that first video that I made of the Seestar, how I got it hooked up with Chrome Remote Desktop. And right now I'm using Chrome Remote Desktop to log into the MacBook Air in Africa. It works the best. I know people like AnyDesk. Most people that I've seen so far at Starfront are using Chrome Remote Desktop, and it's worked fantastic. Very reliable. It's easy to use. It works great on the mobile phone. So does AnyDesk, and so will other programs, out there. But Chrome Remote Desktop, it's free. Set up a Gmail account, and you have access to Chrome Remote Desktop, and set it up on your remote device that you send with a Seestar, and you can log into the computer and control the Seestar in much the same way. So it's still building out. You can see here in the bottom, it's building out those corners for the mosaic mode. Here, this area, there are some nebulosities, some stars there. And I'm thinking about going to Eta Carina here in a little bit. And that's C92, Caldwell 92, in a little bit. Very large target. I'm not going to blow it out too much, too much of a big mosaic on there, because it'll take a while. But, yep, this is where we're at with the Seestar live in Zimbabwe. Nice to be able to image starting at 12:30, 1 o'clock in the afternoon here on the East Coast. And then when the sun rises, which is around 9:30, between 9:30 and 10 p.m., our time here on the East Coast is prime time in Texas. And that is, I've been missing out on my sleep a little bit. This is true, but really getting a lot of time imaging here with these targets and acquiring some very good data with a Seestar. Can't wait for the new S30 Pro, and eventually the bigger model of the S50 Pro version. What people are saying S70. Well, I hope it has a larger aperture there and can capture more light and has a better sensor and everything. And possibly if it could be cooled, I don't know how they would do that. I'm sure. And the number one thing that I really do hope that ZWO figures this out is the issue with the cable. I hope they don't ship this S30 Pro with a cable plug on the side. If they do, I'd be quite disappointed, because that is the number one problem. If it's going to be a pro version and people are going to use this and pay more money for it and use it for more serious astrophotography, it's going to have the better sensor, the 533 IMX 533 sensor on there. That is a big problem, the cable wrap. Somehow, I don't know how, on the base so that it doesn't spin while the Seestar is turning in EQ mode or in alt-az mode. They got to work that out. I mean, I know the dwarf doesn't have that problem, and they'll have to go to some sort of a different format, a different style, but that's going to be a big one. They really need to work that out. Everything else is very rock solid, very sturdy, and has proven itself in the year and 3 months, year and 4 months that I've had my S50 at Starfront to be quite reliable. Even though the last couple of weeks I've had some issues that at Starfront with my S50. Um, I can't even begin to tell you that the cable clips came off that hold the cable, the USB cable. The other day, I homed it after it finished imaging, and it it homed in the opposite wrong direction. Usually, the power button has to be pointing up towards the sky. It was pointing down towards the ground. Um, the my peer cam for some reason, I don't know if it got bumped or something, is now like hardly looking at my C starts looking at my next door neighbor Kevin's S50 and things like that. So they, some weird things have happened over there, but hey, they do the best job that they can over there at Starfront. They've experienced explosive growth at Starfront, and I really commend those guys for doing what they've done and what they do, and making bringing dark skies and making it very affordable for people. That's a very admirable and important mission, because they have discovered a market of people out there that have a lot of astrophotography equipment that they don't get to use because it's cloudy outside, because it's raining, and they can't get out, or they live in an apartment. They all they have is a parking lot that's all lit up. Having access to dark skies is very powerful, and they've made it very affordable, which is really the biggest. It's the secret sauce of Starfront. The fact that they have done that. And that is, I give Brave Falls and Josh and Nate and Dustin and everybody over there a lot of credit. For thinking of this and working hard, because I know they work hard on site. You have to live on site to be, to be able to deal with all the things that arise for customers. So that is that's great there. So okay, here is this image here. I'm going to go ahead and hit processing, hit the AI noise reduction. Let's see what that looks like. With a little AI denoising. It says 29 seconds to denoise it. Okay. Wearing my Winter Star Party shirt. Our Winter Star Party for Southern Cross Astronomical Society is coming up. It's going to be in the Florida Keys. It's on Scout Key, February 16th through the 22nd. If you've never been, this is one of the most popular star parties in the United States. I've met people that have come from Europe, from Asia, Canada, for that star party, because we get to see some targets that are only visible um, uh, from that southern point, Eta Carina, um, Omega Centauri, Centaurus A, which I was able to capture all last year. Okay, so there's the. Okay, not a huge difference here with the noise reduction. That's without the noise reduction. That's with the noise reduction. I like to bring up the brightness a little bit. Lower the black contrast there in the background. I know it's kind of a little trick to kind of get rid of some of the noise there, and then bring up the saturation a little bit to make the colors pop a little bit. But now if we do the compare, that's without, that's with. Without, you can see all the noise there, and after the noise reduction. So that's that. I'll save that image and send that out. Just download that. And there we are. That is the Seestar in the Southern Hemisphere. there. And we're going to move this now to the one target. Let's see here. Let's go to Eta Carina. C92, Caldwell 92. And I'll bring up the view of the little pier cam on the right. I'll put on the infrared light so you can see what this looks like as it's moving. There we go. Go back, and now it's all lit up. And there it is. There's the Seestar on a leveler. It's in Alt-Az mode for now. And then we're going to go over here. And we are going to go to the Sky Atlas. Go over to C92. There we go. Eta Carina Nebula. The current, it's only at 5 degrees. Is that correct? Oh, that's that's too low. Too low for Eta Carina right now. That'll have to be a few hours later. So let's see. It'll be at 35 degrees to the southeast at about 2 o'clock in the morning over there in Zimbabwe, which will be, about 7 p.m. our time. So that's not going to work. How about, let's go someplace else. Centaurus A is probably the running chicken. Okay, that's still too low. That's way, way too low. Centaurus A, which I love that target, that's definitely way too low. Only a couple of degrees. Okay, here's a little globular cluster. C104. Let's go check out this little guy here. We'll go there. And we'll start shooting this image. Have it go there. You'll see the Seestar now move on the right side. Not much, because it was very close to where it was at. There, it just moved a tiny little bit. All right. We should see this little globular cluster here in a moment. Yeah, we're looking at the Seestar S50 in Zimbabwe, Africa. Thank you for joining. This is the last minute, not any pre-planning on this. It's kind of a spur of the moment idea to just do this YouTube live. I know I could have gotten more people on here if I would have scheduled it and whatnot, but it's hard to get, with the weather in Zimbabwe right now. It's rainy season, and we got a clear night after 9 nights of clouds and some rain. Not a huge amount of rain, but mainly clouds. Here we've got this little globular cluster, C104. If I'll mark it, there it is. NGC 362. All right. Yeah, these little clusters, I know I can't leave it on there too long because they will blow out the center. And it'll have a lot of light there, so you won't be able to see all the detail. on there. But basically, that's where we've got this globular cluster in the Southern Hemisphere. This is C104 on there. So if I go on Stellarium and I put in C104, let's see what it tells us about this one here. The magnitude is 6.56. The globular cluster located in the constellation Tucana in the Southern Hemisphere. Yeah. Let's see here. In the Small Magellanic and Large Magellanic Cloud. Let's see what else is there. And this large. There is a lot of small globular clusters in these clouds, the large and the small. So if we go, I'm just randomly searching for something. Look at the star field over here. Just kind of like to wander around here. I'm going to pick a target and we're going to send the Seestar to that. How about if we send it over here? There's a lot of NGC targets down here. All right. How about this one here? NGC 1934. NGC 19. Let's go. Let's have a look at NGC 1394. Oops. If we go back to the okay, we're gonna stop. 1394. NGC 1394. Stop this globular cluster, and we're going to NGC 1394. All right, NGC 1394. It says it's a galaxy. It's way up there. I'm wondering if it's too high, because yeah, that's way up there, about 90. That's super high. Let's go back and see if there's something. Magellanic Cloud. See if we can find something to the south of this Magellanic Cloud. What about this area over here? What is this? No. We go here. Okay. You see 2031. Okay. Enter stuff here. What about the Small Magellanic Cloud? All right, what about this area here? We can maybe pop in there. If anybody's got any ideas for any targets here, let's I really didn't set up a plan for tonight, but we can have some fun with that. Oops. Put this in do not disturb. Okay. Let's go just a Small Magellanic Cloud. That's where we're going to go to. Okay. Go there. And let's get out of here. And we're going to go to the Small Magellanic Cloud. Okay. To the south. That's fine. Let's go there. And this just area of nebulosity here. NGC 330. Okay. There's some cool nebulosity there. Let's just go there. And we'll expand this framing so we don't get any field rotation. How about we do that? Let's do that. There. And then have it go. Yeah, that looks pretty good. Actually, let's get that part a little bit lower there. And let's go 2. It's very close to that already. Yep, so this is the Seestar, the S50 in Zimbabwe. We've got it right now, just a random area there in the Small Magellanic Cloud. Yeah, this has worked really well. I mean, A, it's affordable. B, it's easy to connect. I often think of somebody, people tell me, Carl, shouldn't you be doing this like with a proper rig? Shouldn't you be, why are you doing this with these cheap telescopes? And well, uh, just a basic, uh, quality scope like a Red Cat or something like that. I mean, with everything, I'm looking at $4,000 to $5,000 to make it all work. Am I going to send $4,000 to $5,000 worth of stuff to Africa? Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if I'd do that. I will send the $500 device. That, if something happens to it, oh well, it was $500, not $5,000. So, these are some of the things that factor into my logic, as to why I do this, and showing that it can be done and that it's no longer limited. You're no longer limited by, budget to be able to do this. You can get an S30 now. I mean, they've got it for $350. And if you're going to be interested in buying one, I'd ask you. You can help support me on my website at Star Pictures Miami. I do have affiliate links. On the top it says buy a Seestar, and you can get an S50 or an S30. If you're thinking about buying a Seestar, please by all means, I invite you to be able to support me in getting it through that link. It will cost you no additional money. Right now, the S30 is for $350. I think through January. Unbelievable scope for $350. I just bought one, set it up in Big Bend in West Texas. Amazing. Really, really amazing. I've got my personal one here, which is fantastic. And I use it here. I don't have my 50 anymore. My S50 is in West Texas. But it is possible to do this. And now that you don't need a Mac, and ZW has released this telescope network feature on their latest firmware update, guess what? You can send the Seestar without a Mac computer to a remote site. So if you've got a, send it to I think just a matter of time at Starfront, people are going to be sending their Seestar telescopes without the need for a Macintosh or a PC or a Raspberry Pi, with Alpaca or anything like that, or even with Nina. Nina's been made available also in the latest firmware update. You can remotely control it now with Nina. So with a mini PC, theoretically, you can make that work in much the same way that you use a Mac. You won't be using the native dashboard and app. Same thing as people use Nina. They have their ASI 2600 cameras, and they use Nina because it gives them a lot more control. They can control the guiding. They control a lot more aspects of the camera and the whole experience with Nina than using the native ZWO app. But there's a lot of people that say, you know what, the ZWO platform is fantastic. It's got everything I need. I don't need to dive that deep into it. If you want to, you can now with Nina with the Seestar. It's not required. But what I want to get to is to the point that you can actually have a Seestar, an S30 for $350 and get it set up in a remote site, at Starfront, get it set up. I've just been in touch with some of my friends, and they're like, hey, you know what, man? I've got another friend, my friend Steve and his wife Lisette. They live in North Carolina, in a very dark place. One of the first times that I've seen the Milky Way, was over there in North Carolina. They have a beautiful property there in the mountains, and we could set up an S30 over there for $350. That's amazing. That really tell me that there's another scope out there that can do astrophotography on this level. And I realize this is not a RASA 8-inch quality or anything like that, but pretty respectable. And with external processing, you can really get this to shine. These images. I've seen people do some amazing work with the Seestar data that's available with these telescopes and being able to focus in on it and make these images shine. So think about it. If you have some ideas, please share them with me. Set up that new Discord. It's my Discord server, Smart Scopes, on there, and you can go there. And I've got a channel for Starfront. I've got a channel for this scope in Zimbabwe. I've got another channel for the 2 scopes I've got set up in near Big Bend National Park. So, I'm open to ideas. I'm open to ideas to make this easier and more affordable for people, and of anybody that will want to use this for educational purposes. Our idea with this telescope in Zimbabwe is to bring this into schools in Zimbabwe, and bring astronomy into the school classrooms in the rural schools in Zimbabwe, and with the help of people that we've got on the ground there, Tronic and John Simpson, we're hoping to do that and accomplish that. That would bring me a lot of personal satisfaction to know that this technology can expose people that don't have access to telescopes. Yes, ideally, it would be great to have a visual telescope, but some of these people just don't. They don't have the ability to. It's very expensive for a telescope. I have this set up. Brian and John and I have worked together to make this all possible, and we want to make it available to education for educational purposes. And it's something that we'll do. We are going to bring that into the classrooms starting next year into Zimbabwe. So, and I want to be able to use that as a model for other educational outreach initiatives, not only in Zimbabwe, but anywhere in the world, be it Europe, be it in Asia, be it in Australia, in North America, South America, Central America. We can bring this technology with the way that we're looking at this right now. Imagine this being projected or shared on a monitor in a classroom somewhere in Zimbabwe or in South Africa or in Zambia or in Namibia or wherever. And a lot of these kids will have never, they can go outside and look at the night sky and see some beautiful things, absolutely, with a good pair of binoculars, see some amazing things. But to be able to get in with this detail, like the Seestar provides us, the ability to go into these star clusters, to go into this nebulosity, into these galaxies, into these reflection nebulas and emission nebulas. I think it's very powerful. And that is one of the main things I want to do. I want to bring this into the classroom and into the hands of educators around the world. And I think that this has a great potential for that. In this exact way with Chrome Remote Desktop. So one of the advantages I'm thinking of, the fact that we can start imaging in Zimbabwe at 12:30 or 1 o'clock in the afternoon. Imagine that we could bring this into the classroom live at 1 o'clock in the afternoon. Whereas if I have my scope at Big Bend or at Starfront now, it's by the time we get the image 9:30 at night when it's astronomical dark, that's going to be difficult. The classrooms aren't open at 9:30 at night. Yes, you could have a after hours or an online after hours course, but during school hours, this is possible by having a telescope in the Southern Hemisphere, in Africa, possibly in Australia. Think about that for a moment. You could start imaging, in Australia at, our time, like 9 o'clock in the morning over here, and have a full day of access to this experience in a classroom here in the United States. That to me is very powerful. That we could do that, and that's something that is central to what we're trying to do with this telescope and expanding these telescopes around the world. In Southern Cross, I do a lot of outreach. I go and speak at groups of Boy Scouts and Girl Scouts, and also do a lot of outreach at the zoo with our solar telescope on Saturdays. And that's how we expand this hobby, how we bring new people into the hobby. And I think that this technology has the potential to do that and do it in a very big way. And I think that that's very powerful. The fact that we can share these images, share this experience. And when kids go outside, and they need to be going outside more and looking up with a pair of binoculars, just some targets that you could see with a pair of binoculars. You could see Jupiter with a pair of binoculars. You could see the moon, of course. You could see these open clusters. You could see Orion, with a decent pair of binoculars. I tell people that all the time. If you're in a dark area and you know where to look, and this tool might be able to help you, to identify and find your way in the night sky. And apps on your phone, that I use, like Sky Safari and Stellarium and things like that, Skyview. So there we are. So this is what we're looking at here with the S50. Let's see what the stars are looking at on the Peer Cam. Okay, there's the Peer Cam. I'm going to turn off that IR infrared light so that we can get a dark view of the stars. There. Yeah, there we go. So there's a star right there. This background view is the actual night sky in Zimbabwe, Africa right now. There's the silhouette of the Seestar as it's taking that image there in the Small Magellanic Cloud. And we are looking at this and realizing that we've got um, amazing technology at our disposal in the Seestar, in Starlink, in the generosity and kindness of people, like John Simpson and Tronic in Zimbabwe that are making this possible. And I can't thank them enough to, imagine, you know, what this would entail if we were to try to get this into Africa. I mean, the cost, um, clearing customs, making sure that it gets there all in one piece. All this equipment. That's the biggest thing. It's like, um, you know, I commend a lot of people for sending their equipment to Starfront. I mean, there's some really, really impressive gear that people send to Starfront. I mean, $25,000, $30,000 rigs that are like, wow, that would take a lot for me to send my $25,000, you know, uh, setup with the, a plane wave or a Rasa or something like that over there with all the accessories and the really nice cameras and the mounts and everything like that, and the computers and everything. I mean, that's amazing, but I just can't see doing that, sending it to like another continent. Here you could drive it over there to Texas. A lot of people do that. That's great. That's awesome. But sending $30,000 worth of stuff to someplace on another continent, that's a big ask, if you ask me. Let's see. Let's go back to the Seestar. There it is. Thank you for joining me. Carlos here with Star Pictures Miami, and that's a view within the Small Magellanic Cloud with the Seestar S50. An amazing product. And I'm going to leave you here for a few minutes while it's imaging, and I'll be back in a few minutes. All right? Here we go. Hello, I'm back. Thank you for joining. We've got a couple people left on here. Thank you very much for your time. I just want to say that this has been an experience for me sharing this with you, the Seestar S50 in the Southern Hemisphere in Zimbabwe. We've got this hooked up. We want to make this available for people to experience and realize that the Seestar is not a toy. We can have this connected at a very affordable price in anywhere in the world. So right now we're looking at the S50 in the Small Magellanic Cloud, imaging there. And we're going to have more targets. In fact, I'm thinking of probably just letting this run on a different target. Let's see what other targets are available out here. We're looking at this. The Sky Atlas. We looked at the 47 Tucanae, the globular star cluster. We can go over here to the Large Magellanic Cloud. I like to do this sometimes, just wander around in the Sky Atlas. And look for different. These are neighboring galaxies. These are amazing that we can see these things in this way, that we can actually see all these images with the star Seestar. And we've got this available to us here. We can see all this stuff here. I'm going to point it at, let's see. So let me move it around here. How about if we go, let's just go up to this random area in here, right there. What's in this area? Right? That's like in the core of the Large Magellanic Cloud. If we go there and we expand that a little bit, let's have a look what's in there. A lot of stars. There are a lot of stars in there. A lot of NGC targets. Let's just go there and let it sit there for a while. That's a random piece of sky in Zimbabwe. And the framing, we're going to expand this out a little bit there, and we're going to go and we're going to make this available to, let me see here. We're going to go here and, oh. Okay, let's make that happen. If we go and image right there, we'll just let it go right there. Go to, perfect. That is a random piece of sky. Let's go. Go to. I want to switch objects. Yes. There it goes. We'll see the Seestar. And there's the Seestar moving over here on the right. Some of the targets I want to image, oh, there I am, are definitely like Eta Carina. That's coming up later. So that by the time I can image Eta Carina, it's going to be here in Miami about 7 p.m. East Coast time. And that will put it at 2 o'clock in the morning over there in Zimbabwe. So we just picked a random piece of sky here in the Large Magellanic Cloud here. Let's have it go there. Again, my name is Carlos. I'm with Star Pictures Miami, and you're looking at a live view of the Seestar in Zimbabwe, Africa. Already I'm seeing some cool little, I like these little random little star configurations, these little, I don't know if they're clusters or what, but look, this one kind of looks like the letter Z right there. You know, there's different just random things in the night sky over there. One thing that I'm noticing that is quite different from anything in the Northern Hemisphere is the lack of satellite trails over Zimbabwe, the lack of airplanes flying over Zimbabwe. So I don't think there's nearly as much air traffic in Africa or in the southern part of Africa as there are, or as there is in the Northern Hemisphere. You know, especially in the United States or in Europe. I think we haven't gotten one image right now with one star trail or one satellite trail, and anything that we've been imaging so far in this session. And that is something noticeable there with the Southern Hemisphere. We've got people in that are imaging at Starfront every single night that I image anything at Starfront, especially anything to the west. I get a lot of satellite trails. Either they're Starlinks or they're other satellites. Probably a lot of Starlinks, a lot of other satellites from other countries. You don't see that here in Africa. Uh, I would probably say we're not going to get one satellite trail coming across this image as it images this random area of the Large Magellanic Cloud. So that's a big difference that I've noticed with having a telescope in the Southern Hemisphere. Also, the fact that this was kind of interesting to find that only 10% of the world's population lives in the Southern Hemisphere uh, on the Earth, which is amazing. So 90% of the population is above in the Northern Hemisphere. Only 10% of the world population live anywhere south of the equator, which is amazing. So, you look at a light pollution map of Africa, you'll see that almost the entire continent is a Bortle 1. Yes, there are big cities, in the north, in North Africa, near Morocco and stuff like that. It's very lit up. But when you start getting into the equator or south of the equator, look at a light pollution map. It's quite dark. It's quite dark, making it a great place to put a Seestar telescope. And that's where we've got this S50 and soon an S30 in Zimbabwe, Lake Kariba, in the area of Kariba, which is on the border with Zambia. And here we go. There's a random area of the Large Magellanic Cloud. And there it goes. It's just imaging away. If you've got any questions or any comments, please, you can email me, starpicturesmiami@gmail.com. Or you can post a chat on the live. I can definitely respond to any chat messages on the live there. But yeah, we've got this. This is an impromptu meeting today. Didn't YouTube. I just spur of the moment. Didn't want to really spend a lot of time preparing this, but the opportunity came to image today. It was, the weather forecast looked clear in Zimbabwe. I've been following the weather almost every day, and it was something that I said I got to jump on this, and was able to message my assistant there on the ground in Africa and Zimbabwe, Tronic. His name is Tronic, and he is my eyes and ears over there. He's the one set up the telescope. If I have any issues with cable wrap or something comes disconnected or I have to reboot something, I don't have a switch bot on the Seestar. I probably will soon. Didn't send one, so I don't know how I'm going to get a switch bot into Africa. But I've got Tronic. I mean, Tronic is a person that he can just, if I ask him, hey, power on the Seestar, we'll leave it off, all these nights. If it's going to be cloudy weather for the next 5 days, I just turn off the Seestar, power down the Mac, turn everything off, and tell him to keep the everything turned off. And when it clears up, we'll turn everything back on. And he's available, and bam, in 5 minutes, the MacBook Air's on, the Seestar's on, we got power, the web, the Pure Cam is working, everything's up and running. And But eventually, I do want to automate this. I am sharing some. I'm working on an idea to automate the opening and the roof, the closing of the roof of this box, on in much like a remote observatory, like we've seen at Starfront. There's a lot of people that have built backyard observatories that the roof rolls off on rails. I'm in, I'm working on an idea with that, but for these small boxes. And I'll share with you the image there we've got of the Seestar in Zimbabwe. Let's see the boxes. Oh no, that's not it. That's my wife there. Let's see. We've got. Oh, it was. Let me see here. With the Seestar in Africa. Here we go. This is the box. That's it. That's what's housing the Seestar in Africa. That box right there is a plastic storage box that you can get at Lowe's or Home Depot or Amazon for that matter. And it's designed to be outside. It's UV rated. It can get wet. It's very. It's been pouring over there at some nights. Not a drop of water gets in this thing. You know, ants and stuff, spiders, yes, but all the stuff we don't want, and no humidity. That when he puts the lid on this, it's tight. No humidity built up. I do have a little fan in there here in the corner, in the top corner, is a little USB fan. It's got 3 speeds on it: low, medium, and high. And uh, I asked Tronic to leave it on low and to circulate the air around there, to move it around in the box, because it'll be a week that it'll be closed. And then there's a Seestar. There's the little pier cam. There's a Casa IP power strip. There's this other little camera on the outside that I'm going to be using as an all sky camera. Yes, it's all budget stuff. That little camera is $22, I think. This little pan tilt camera that I have not been able to get hooked up was like $30. Works great. I can take video, time lapse, move it around. I've got one of these set up at Big Bend in West Texas. Works fantastic. I got to say, it works great. And that's the view of inside the box where the Seestar is. There. And so here's some images. Here's the box on the roof of where it's located. It's wrapped in foil. We got some foil around it because it's out in the sun. It does get hot, and I was getting overheating warnings on the Seestar on the battery. So luckily, I had the foresight to send in the foil, and Tronic wrapped it all up, made it all happen. Thank you, Tronic. You are the man. And here's some images. That's all part of the Seven Sisters I just randomly picked. Here's a target the other day I was imaging, just another random part of the Large Magellanic Cloud. Look at all the NGC targets in here. These are all little star clusters, globular star clusters. 17 of them I counted on there. Just amazing, really. Here's Eta Carina I was able to get the other night. This is 31 minutes of exposure time. Unprocessed, is straight out of the Seestar, with no noise reduction or anything. Very bright targets, very large. Here's a globular cluster. This is 47 Toucan A. This is the first image I took with the Seestar when it went live. The very first image. This is the first light image of the S50 in Zimbabwe, back about 3 weeks ago, 4 weeks ago. 1 minute exposure. Can you believe that? 1 minute. Here's the NGC 2070, the Tarantula Nebula, and you can see these stars. I mean, this is I love this image. Let me zoom in a little bit here. You can see all this blue, these blue stars, and you see some yellow stars and some orange stars, and the nebulosity, this light green, just beautiful stuff. 61 minutes of exposure on this image here. So that's what we've got. The Seestar in Zimbabwe. A whole new world of targets. I just having a hard time picking what I want to image. Yes, it is. You know, I try to plan it, but then a lot of the targets I want to image, at least right now, this time of year, are coming up later in the day, or later early in the morning over there in Zimbabwe. But I think you'll agree this is pretty impressive stuff. Yes, if I had a, you know, one of these Newtonian scopes over there, like one of these carbon star scopes over there with a really nice ZWO camera, I can get some just stunning images. But the cost and the logistics of something like that, I wouldn't be able to sleep at night. I was shipping this stuff to Africa, but a Seestar, yeah, we've got a couple of Seestars over there. That is doable. That is doable. So if we go back over here, see where we're at here, you can start to see now this nebulosity and this star field start to develop there. Just beautiful stuff. If you guys could, like the video, subscribe to the channel, make some comments on the channel, I'd really appreciate it. It helps the algorithm to source this out to other people that are interested in astrophotography, the Seestar, remote imaging, things like that. And if you're thinking about getting a Seestar, don't have one, please, you could help support my efforts by getting the Seestar through one of my affiliate links on my website at starpicturesmiami.com. Starpicturesmiami.com. I've got a link at the top. It says buy a Seestar, the very top of the navigational. You click there, and it takes you a page where you can get the S50 or the S30. It won't cost you a nickel more than the regular price. Right now, the S30 is on holiday special for $350. Unbelievable. $350, worth double that, in my opinion. A very powerful scope. Or the S50, which is fantastic. And really, that's the one that I prefer because it's got a larger aperture, more light gathering capability on there. And it really, it's not as portable, still very small. But if you're going to set it up in a remote observatory, you definitely want more light gathering power. The S50 will give you a 50 millimeter aperture as opposed to a 30 on the S30. So that's the big difference. The S30 has a wider field of view than the S50. It's great for shooting large targets like the North American Nebula NGC 7000, the California Nebula 1499. You've got the Seven Sisters fits perfectly in the view of the S30. The Rosette Nebula, I just took that one out of West Texas at Big Bend last night. It's like, wow, that was just amazing. That image with the S30 is just amazing over there. So, yeah, you can pick up one of those. And if you have any questions, you get it through my affiliate link. I'll make myself available if you have any questions, or you have some issues with it, or just need some guidance. I'm available through my email, starpicturesmiami@gmail.com. Here we are. Okay. So that's looking pretty good right there, folks. That is a random piece of the Large Magellanic Cloud that I just landed on, and we're looking at some cool star formations there. Let me zoom in here. This kind of looks to me like a Z, like the letter Z there. And this maybe like a little J, like these little letters. I kind of like just finding these little, I don't know, call them Easter eggs or just random things in the images. But we have a sea star live in Zimbabwe, Africa. It's a clear night tonight, the 12th of December, 2025. And we're looking at some beautiful stuff in the Southern Hemisphere. Let's see what the clouds look like. So I'm going to take it off this mode here. Let's go back to the view there. And I will look at this sometimes just to get a view. Okay, so I could see one star there. There might be some clouds. There might be some clouds. But I have still not gotten my all sky camera thing set up there yet with my second USB camera. So it's dark. It's very dark. This is like very, very dark over there. It says it's a Bortle 2, but if you get anywhere near the capital Harare, which is that's still lit up, that's very lit up. You can get to a Bortle 7 over there. But this is in Kariba. And there it is. Let's see where Eta Carina is. I'm just curious where it's at. Hopefully it's above 15 degrees. If we go to Eta Carina. I love the fact that we can use the Sky Atlas while it's imaging. 12 degrees. Okay. Still got a little ways to go. What else is out there? We can also see a lot of things in the Southern Hemisphere that we see in the Northern Hemisphere. Seven Sisters is at 46 degrees above the horizon right there. This says, let me see, which one is it? String of Pearls Galaxy. Okay. That one's pretty interesting. That's in the southwest. That's at 35 degrees right there. That looks pretty cool. Let's go there. Let's just pick this area. Okay, so we're going to go to this area here. We're going to go to this locate target position. There it is. If I go to C72, let's see what the magnitude of this is. Group of galaxies. It's a 7.8. Little on the faint side, but I think the Seestar, the S50, could do a good job with it. Let's send it there. NGC 55, also known as String of Pearls Galaxy, is a Magellanic type barred spiral galaxy located about 6.5 million light years away in the constellation of Sculptor. Okay. Discovered July 7th, 1826 by Scottish astronomer James Dunlop. Sounds good looking up and finding this thing. We're going to take a look at it now with the Seestar. On right side, I'm going to put the Seestar. I'm going to turn on the little light there so you can see it moving. So you can see that I'm actually controlling this remotely there, night vision. And here it's going to be very bright now. There it is. Okay, let's make this thing move away from that random patch in the Large Magellanic Cloud. And let's go to this C72 galaxies, 7.8 magnitude. Oh, wait. Before I do that, let's frame it out a little bit so we don't get any field rotation, just a little tiny bit. I don't want to do it too much, just a hair of expand it there, and then that's good. We'll then now send it, do I want to switch? You bet. And now we'll see the Seestar on the right start to move. There it is. There it goes. So the moon tonight, I believe, is below 50% illuminated. So should not have too much interference from the moon. Okay, you saw it move there. It's moving. There we go. Oh, got a little bit of cable wrap there. We're going to send it there. Let's see if it locks on. Okay. I think it's locking on. Hopefully. Okay. There's the blue box and the red box. Wondering if the cable is snagging it. As you can see, the cable there is a little wrapped there. Let's try. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to close the arm, C72. Tell it to stop. I'm going to tell it to stop there. I'm going to close the arm, C72. Close the arm. Oh, I can't do that well. It's still trying to image it. I'm going to close the arm. So we're going to close the arm. It's still trying to capture that image. I want to tell it to stop. Okay. Okay, now it stopped. Now we're going to tell it to close the arm. There. Now it's turning back. Tell the, there it goes. It's homing back. See, before the Seestar, before this update, it would continue to turn in the opposite direction that you're seeing it turn now, and that would cause the cable wrap. There you go. So there it is. Now let's see if we can send it to C72. We're going to go back over there, and we're going to make it go to C72. That's where we were before. String of Pearls Galaxy. There. Frame it a little bit. Just a hair like that. And then away we go. Now it should open up. There it goes. All right. All right, I think it's going to turn a little bit more and lock on. It's amazing we can see this live. This thing's all the way in Africa. Wow. And here, unless there's some clouds I'm not seeing. Again, I don't have my all sky camera set up. But when I get my S30 set up over here, I'll use that secondary camera to be able to. Right now, it's kind of hard for me to see. If I turn off this light, let's make this dark. Turn off the automations. Let me see here. Advanced settings. Turn off that infrared light. It's not liking this. You know what? I think there's clouds. When it's not, it can't lock on like that. It's probably clouds. Let's see. I'm not seeing any stars there. Let's see here. Yeah, I'm not seeing any stars. So this could very well be clouds. And the forecast did call for clouds after this time. So right now it's 4 o'clock. So we're looking at 7. So it's about 11. Yeah, about it's about 11 p.m. over there. So yeah, we got clouds coming in. I think that's all she wrote for now. But thank you for joining me, and we've got more stuff that we'll be able to share, and I'll be able to share with you. Please subscribe to the channel, like the video, and tell your friends all about this. This is a pretty cool thing. I'd like to share this with other people and expand the knowledge on here. I'm going to stop this here, and we're going to turn this back on, and we're going to put this to rest tonight. Let's see here. All right. Tell it to stop the image. Okay, it stopped it. And there. Okay. Turn on the infrared light so we can see what's going on. The night vision. And then we'll tell it to close the arm. Here we go. Close the arm. Well, thank you very much for joining me. This is Carlos Garcia with Star Pictures Miami, and we just watched the Seestar in action in Zimbabwe, Africa, on the continent of Africa. So we've got a Seestar in the Southern Hemisphere, and this is pretty exciting stuff. So if you've got any comments, please comment on the video. Would love to hear your feedback, your ideas for other targets. I'm looking for targets. If you've been down in the Southern Hemisphere and you have a favorite target, please let me know in the comments of the video. That would be great. I will be looking at the comments for other ideas for future live videos. All right. Thank you very much. All the best, and have a happy holidays season. Merry Christmas, and have a great Hanukkah for those of you that celebrate Hanukkah. Thank you very much. Again, this is Carlos Garcia with Star Pictures Miami. Thank you.